Hello everybody, this is Sheldon St. Clair. It is 10 a.m. so this is now, I'm now broadcasting this week's segment of the Project Management Today show. I hope you guys have had a really good week. I hope you enjoyed last Wednesday's presentation where I spoke about project management, the 10 characteristics, the 10 qualities of a good project manager. Thanks very much for your comments, and thanks very much for liking, sharing, and commenting on the broadcast. So I'm really pleased by that. Okay, so today we are going to talk about PMO. We'll do a quick recap on what I did last week, and we'll be discussing the main PMO processes. So if you're building a PMO, and as you know, a PMO stands for a program office, a project office, a portfolio office, an enterprise office. It's really a way of providing templates, documents, processes, best practices, coaching, quality, governance to project managers or program managers to enable them to deliver their projects successfully, consistently, and in a way that makes sense within the organization. And also the PMO is the repository of all projects. Morning Roxanne, and they provide information to senior management as to their investment, how their investment is being spent, or projects being delivered to time, within budget, and are they delivering what the business case said they would? Are they delivering what the project charter said they would? Okay, so that's really like, I suppose some people regard a PMO as a police force. Okay. Making sure that the right things are done in the correct manner. Okay, enough of that preamble. So I'm here for 20 minutes and looking at my trusty clock. Let's get moving. Right, so in a recap from last week, hope you've got pen and paper to write things down. So as I say, when you're when you are setting up a PMO, the first thing you need is to look at the PMO's objectives and vision and mission. What is it you want to do? Why do you need it? Why do you need a PMO? Okay, why do you need a program management office in your organization or even for yourself? That's the first thing. The second thing is to look at, okay, what processes am I going to have within that PMO? If your project management office is only catering for 5 or 6 projects or a couple of project managers, then what you actually need as a PMO is going to be quite light. It's going to be a light touch. Okay, but if you're in an organization where you're looking after hundreds of projects, 20, 30, 40 project managers, a large organization, like a bank or a large retail outlet, then of course your PMO, what you deliver, the processes within it, is going to be that much more extensive, that much more robust. Okay, so you need to decide that. And then you need to look at, okay, are you a PMO that's going to provide templates for the project manager to use? Are you going to say to your project manager, well, if you want to produce a status report, this is a template that you need to use. This is a document template that you need to use. If your project manager wants to produce a business case, are you saying to them, then use our business case document template? If your project manager wants to draw up a list of risks and issues, again, you say are you the PMO that says to your project manager, you use whatever you've used in another company, or do you say you use what we have created within this organization? So you need to decide as a PMO, what is it you're going to provide in terms of templates and processes. Also, the services that you need to provide. Now, again, if you're setting up a PMO for the first time in an organization, then you might want to reduce the scope of your services. You may just say, okay, then I'm going to track milestones. at a high level. You may kind of say, okay, then I will deal with risk and issues, basic admin functions. So that's kind of like one type of PMO. You may also say, okay, then I'm going to look at risk and issues. So if, for instance, a project manager was supposed to roll out 20 PCs in their organization, and they've been told that they've now got to roll out or install 50 PCs or laptops within their organization, what does the project manager do? Does he say, yes, I will do it, you know, whether it kind of, you know, without no regard to the timescales or to the budget? Or does he come to you to say, okay, what is it we do? Or does he know because you've told him to say, okay then, Mr. Business Person, you told me originally that I had to roll out 20 laptops. Now you're saying it's 50. In order to do that, we need to go through a process. You need to agree that you're happy to pay the additional monies. I suppose it's a case of if you're in a house and then a plumber comes around and you say to the plumber, my bathroom doesn't work, so he gives you a quote to fix your bathroom or fix the piping in your bathroom because you've got a leak. And then whilst he's there, you say, oh, okay, fix my bath, but my sink doesn't work very well, or you need to look at the toilets because they're blocked. Now, the plumber will say, okay, I will do this, but it will take longer to do and it will cost you more. That is an example of change control. Okay, or the plumber may say, no, I can't do it. I've got another appointment in an hour's time. You've only booked me for half an hour. I can do half an hour now to fix your bathroom. But if you want me to do your toilets and do your sink as well, I'll need to come back. Okay, so the negotiation takes place. That is what change control is, and we just do it for projects. Okay, then roles and responsibilities. So within your PMO, kind of, you know, who are you staffing it with? Have you got a PMO manager? Have you got a PMO coordinator? Have you got a PMO admin person? Have you got a PMO consultant? Have you got a PMO quality manager? It's up to you really in terms of, okay, how big your organization is, and in order to do the work, in order to provide the services, what staffing levels do you need? So it's like a business, isn't it? When you're kind of like constructing a business, one of the first things you should do, which is what a lot of people don't do, is to look at their team. Yeah, they look at, okay, what services am I going to provide to my customers? What services do I want to provide to my customers? And how many people do I need within my organization? And also, what are their roles and responsibilities within that organization? Now, a lot of the times when kind of businesses go wrong, it's not always because they've got a bad product, but it's most often because they didn't look at the team structure, the management structure, and they didn't define roles and responsibilities for each of those members. So not only does the team understand what it is they're looking to do, but everybody else understands what it is they're looking to do. Yeah, and when. Okay, so again, a lot of organizations, a lot of new startups, especially because it's only one person. You know, if you want to grow, you need to organize, what is my hierarchy chart? What does that look like? And does everybody know what my hierarchy chart looks like? And also, what are the roles and responsibilities? Okay, so, and then the final kind of like part is to do with document management. So you're producing all these documents. Now, rather than say, okay, then this document is for a meeting I had with Fred last week. It was Tuesday, I believe. Or this document is with a supplier. You know, it's better to have a file name structure. So therefore, everybody knows, A, where all the documents are kept, and B, they've all got the same naming convention. They all follow a particular standard. Because again, a lot of the time, if you've got a document and you've got no, for instance, version control, I might be looking at version 2 of a document and somebody else might be looking at version 1. and then you've got conflict, and then you've got miscommunication, and nobody knows where they are. Okay, so I've got a question actually. Okay, what are the various roles in a PMO? So as I've mentioned, Roxanne, you've got say a PMO manager. He may be responsible for change management. Okay, so in terms of change management, if you've got a plumber and he's been told to just look after the bath, but there's a leaky toilet downstairs, any sort of requests for additional money goes to the PMO manager. Now, the PMO admin or the PMO coordinator, their role could be to act as a secretariat. So when you have meetings, they put together the pack, they put together the agenda, they put together all the information that is needed for that meeting. If there are, say, risks and issues that need to be kind of captured from all the various projects and put in a central document to send to senior management, you might have a PMO officer, and it's their role to actually do risk and issue management. It may well be their role to do resource management. So if you say, for instance, you've got a big event taking place in February. Now, what resources are you going to need? When are you going to need them? Have you recruited them yet? Are they aware that this is their job from this time to that time? Yeah. How long do you need them for during a day? Is it for a full day? Is it for half a day? Is it for a couple of hours? So that's another role. What other role? Quality management. So you've got a project that's going from initiation to planning stage. So it's got to go over a little hurdle. It's got to get approval to end one phase and to go into the next. Okay, and therefore, whose role is it to say to the project manager, you are ready to, you've got all your documents are fine, I've reviewed it, quality documents, you are ready to say that you're completing the initiation, going to planning. So that's kind of a role that the PMO officer would do, or the PMO analyst, or PMO lead, they all call, or PMO program person, they all call different roles. But great question, thank you very much for that. Okay, so what I want to do is to go over some of the processes. I think I've got about 7-8 minutes left. So I want to kind of like go over some of the processes that you may wish to consider for your project management office or your program management office. So there are 7. So you've got pen and paper, you can kind of like write this down. So a project schedule process. So how does the project manager produce their schedule of activities to complete this job? So again, Roxanne, you've got your team, or the YYC team, the YYC family, the 12. You've got an event in February. Now, what does your schedule look like? What does your list of activities look like in terms of, okay, then the activities, what's your start date, what's your end date, who's going to do that particular work, and what is the budget attached to that? So again, the question is, have you got a process? If you need to add in additional items, how do you do that? What are the inputs into you producing your schedule, and by whom? And what do you need to do? And what are the outputs coming from that? And what templates are you going to use? Okay, so number 1 is a project schedule. So again, for your event in February, what does your project plan look like? It can either be done using an Excel spreadsheet, a Word document, you can create a table in a Word document, or you can use, say, Microsoft Project or Primavera or various other tools. Excel spreadsheet is what a lot of people kind of use. But again, question I'm asking you guys, what does your schedule look like? Again, another process 2, risk and issues. How do you, and again, looking at this event in February, how do you capture risks? You know, either legal risks, finance risks, people risks, speakers. Okay, you're going to have a range of speakers that's going to appear. What are the risks associated with them not appearing? Yes. what are kind of like the issues? Have you got, is there someone within the YYC community who's responsible for capturing all the risks and all the issues and drawing it to people's attention, and to say that, okay, this risk, difference between a risk and issue, that's probably a good thing to say. A risk is something that might happen. An issue is something that has happened. Okay, so a risk that a speaker may or may not turn up because I know that they may be out of the country before your event, and are they going to come back in time? That's a risk because it hasn't happened yet, but it might happen. Okay, a risk that, what's the risk that the hotel that I've booked in February doesn't come back and say, well, we're gonna cancel. Okay, that might be a low level risk. Okay, something to note or not to note, but that's a low level risk. You've got an event and your speaker doesn't turn up. One of your speakers don't turn up. That's an issue. What are you going to do about it? Do you need to reschedule your events of the day? Do you need to replace that speaker with someone else? Have you got backup speakers set up that if one of your main speakers doesn't attend, you've got someone else in place? That might stop you from actually cancelling an event. In a football terminology, when you've got a football match, you've got substitutes on the bench, haven't you? So if a football player is injured, a bad tackle, or he pulls a hamstring or a groin injury or what have you, he can be substituted, he can be pulled off and replaced with a substitute. That's a great example of, that's a great example of risk management, i.e. what happens if my player gets injured whilst playing, and issue management. If he gets injured, I can replace him. A lot of times, I would imagine with events, where events have to be cancelled, is where you've got a headline speaker that doesn't appear. Well, who is your substitute? Who is someone you can bring on board? Yeah. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. I'm always running out of time, aren't I? Okay. So the next process. So I will actually list out the 7 processes, and then I'll kind of quickly go through them. So number 1 is a project schedule. What's your process for that? Number 2 is risk and issue management. Again, what's your process for that? And who does it? Who does it? Number 3 is project status reporting. So when are you going to produce reports on the progress? So for instance, the event in February, who's producing a report that says, okay, then these are my risks, these are my issues, these are my key milestones, these are my budgets and how I'm managing the budget, etc. Documentation process. What documents are you producing? Where are they kept? Is the naming convention of a particular standard? Okay. Number 5, quality management. Who reviews the documents that you produce? Who reviews your bios? Okay. Have you got, if for instance you're doing again YYC, if you're producing a book writing or book authoring course, your quality manager, who's the person that proofreads that for you? Okay, that's quality management. Yeah. So number 5, governance, in terms of, well, okay, then how do you handle governance? Governance in terms of, okay, how do things work? What do you do if there are problems? What are the standards that people need to watch out for and understand and have been communicated to them? What's the culture within the organisation? That's part of governance as well. And point 7, change control. Okay, so again, if again, looking at the event in February, if people, if for instance, okay, great example. So if for instance you're kind of catering for 1,000 people at your event in February, and then that number needs to be increased to 1,500 or to 2,000 people, because people are widely excited about kind of what it is you're doing. The marketing and the promotional efforts and the ticketing is going really, really well. You've got a kind of a really good team on board. So therefore, but if you need to scale up, what's your process for doing that? Who needs to agree it? When do they need to agree it? Who does it need to be communicated to? Okay, what are the budget implications for that? What are the kind of the date implications for that. If you kind of like were first catering for 1,000 people and you're going to produce goodie bags for them, and now you've got to do 2,000 people, are you still going to produce goodie bags for everybody? Or if you are going to produce goodie bags for people, are you putting the same items within each goodie bag? So if kind of like for 1,000 people, you're going to put 5 items in your goodie bag. If you're catering for 2,000 people, are you still going to have 5 items? Are you going to have 7? Or you can have 3? Okay, so again, that is kind of like aspects of change control. Project management and event management and the disciplines go hand in hand. They dovetail. Yeah, they work really, really well together. And that could be kind of something that I kind of like explore. I don't really know a lot about this event in February, to be honest, but it sounds like a project to me. Again, as we mentioned a week or so ago, what is a project? A project is something unique. The event in February is. It's temporary. The event in February is. It's a one-off. It's got a start and an end date, like the event in February. You've got a budget and you've got timescales, okay? And you've got all the other aspects, the operational aspects, like who's going to do your ticketing, who's going to do your registration, who's going to be your crew, so that's your resource management. So that's a process as well, actually. Okay, that's not mentioned here, but resource management is also a process as well. So, I'm out of time now, I'm out of time. I'm sorry. So, so I hope that has been of benefit to those of you listening, and you can look at how you can apply that both to things you're doing, events you're looking to run. If events that you've run previously haven't been as successful as you would have liked, was there a breakdown in the project management, how you managed that project? Was there a breakdown in terms of your budget, in terms of how you handled risk and issues, in terms of how you reported things, in terms of how you dealt with change? Okay, so that's things that you need to think about. Okay, so please, let's see, what's it? Like, comment, and share. If you've got any questions, if you've got kind of things that you want me to cover off next Saturday, when I kind of like do a PMO show, then please let me know. I do a Wednesday show at 8 p.m. where I talk about project management type stuff. So if you've got any kind of like questions or queries you want me to bring up and draw upon or answer, then please let me know as well. So this is Sheldon Sinclair signing off from the Project Management Today show broadcast, and today we spoke a bit about objectives of PMO, but also about the PMO services. Have a great day. Bye for now.